Hello, everyone. This is Chris from Texas School of Professional Photography. And again, we're joined by one of our Saturday instructors, Emily Hart Davis. And she is presenting a class on Saturday, April 25th, the Modern Sports Photography Blueprint. So, Emily, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited. I'm
Yeah.
a Texas girl, so the Texas school just makes sense, right?
Yes, well, we're excited to have you at Texas School. And if you're like, well, I've looked at the website and I haven't seen Emily's name or this title, well, she's a new addition. We've been talking to her for a while and want to get her in because she's got a great program and some great concepts, and is what she's going to teach, from my understanding, has revolutionized her business and her life. But before
Mhm.
we get that far, Emily, why don't you tell some of our listeners just a little bit about you and your photography?
All right. Well, I started out as a wedding photographer way back in the day, like back 2011 to 2017. I pretty much exclusively did weddings, except for in 2014, my own church's preschool asked me, like, hey, we know you do photography. Would you be interested in doing our preschool? And I was like, yeah, how hard can it be? Like, I'll get me a little backdrop and figure out the lighting and do this preschool. And so I did. And that was my first taste of volume photography where it was paper forms back then because none of like the gallery stuff existed yet. And so put out the paper forms, did the whole like proofing pictures and got the order forms back and ordered the prints. And even with all of that unnecessary at this point stuff that I had to go through, it was the most money with the least hand holding that I had ever made. And so I started booking more preschools and got to the point where in 2017, I decided to quit the wedding business. My kids were getting a little bit older. And so I decided to jump full force into preschools, did that for a couple of years. And then in 2020, the world burned down and everything canceled. And so I didn't have any preschools going on through the rest of 2020 and a little bit into 2021. But I started shooting sports because in Texas we were playing baseball in April
Yes.
of 2020. So that was really where like my sports and schools stuff took off. We still do the preschools after COVID was kind of all fixed up. Got all our preschools back and continue to expand that. And so that's just what we've been doing for the last couple of years. I've grown the team, and we shoot all over North Texas now, school, sports, anything volume.
Wow. So I want you to give me a few definitions. So,
Hmm.
I mean, some people hear volume and they think, like you got to have a fleet of trucks,
Right.
and you got six different locations any given week. Some people might hear volume and it's just more than one person in front of their camera. Well, kind of give us some definitions on where you think that might fall.
Mhm. So volume is a niche that is very wide. Like you can be doing volume and have it be 60 kids at a preschool, call that volume, where you're just having a short amount of time, but a bunch of people in front of your camera all at once. That's probably what I would define volume is in a nutshell, is just running through people where it's not a customized photo session, like taking a senior out into a field and everything is so custom and you're helping them with outfits and you're helping them with locations. This is like very streamlined. We come, set up one time, run a bunch of kids through or a bunch of people through. Um, so that's how I would define volume. And then as you go into the volume business a little bit further, maybe that means you have multiple cameras, multiple stations going. Maybe you're shooting hundreds or thousands of kids in a single afternoon. Maybe you've got staff who work for you and it becomes a big business, but from the very beginning, it can be just you doing volume. In the beginning, it was just me
Yeah.
doing volume.
I like that it's kind of repeatable and short, right? Those are the
Hmm.
key words I kind of heard out, just
Yes.
repeatable and short. So even if I don't want to sit in front of preschoolers, that
Hmm.
may make your hair turn grayer than
Yeah,
others.
preschools is not for everyone.
Or if I don't, if I don't want to be out in the Texas heat, so I can adapt volume to if I want to do corporate headshots and go to someone's
Mhm.
office, right? So you would fit all that into kind of what your volume model is.
Yeah, for sure. I would say corporate headshots, preschools, regular school yearbook, sports for high school, middle school, youth leagues, dance studios, gymnastics gyms. That's all under the volume umbrella.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for kind of just capsuling that for us. So your
Yeah.
class is the modern. Let me get again the modern sports photography blueprint. So you've kind of already hit how when COVID happened, all the preschools were gone. You were forced to be outside with baseball players, and you got into sports. So
Mhm.
kind of kind of open up your class for us a little bit that you'll be teaching at Texas School this year on the Saturday, April 25th,
Yeah.
about what a student could expect with this modern blueprint.
Yeah. So I'm kind of teaching from a lens of my volume business really wasn't there before COVID. Like we are a post-COVID studio, and I've grown it from just me in 2020 up to we've got 7 full-time people in the business, lots of 1099s working with us. And this is just going to be the modern blueprint for how I think volume photography works best in 2026. Volume photography can kind of be like an old timers game. I think a lot of people misunderstand volume photography as being like paper order forms and like 90s style backdrops with flames and soccer balls coming out of them. And it doesn't have to be that way. You can make beautiful portraits that are streamlined and systemized, but still totally account like the artistry that we all, started photography
Hmm.
over, and just do it in a way where you're maximizing efficiency.
Yeah. I really like that you hit that because I think some people when they hear volume, they almost have their look down their nose like, oh,
Mhm.
it's boring lighting, it's not creative, it's right. But you're talking
Yeah.
no, in 2026, volume is it's not the church directory anymore.
Yes.
It can be exciting and beautiful work. So,
I think the biggest misunderstandings about volume photography is like it's not artistic, which it absolutely can be. It cannot be if you're not doing it in a modern way, but it can be so artistic. It can be um like meaningful work to be able to do these yearbook pictures of these kids, to be able to give them their sports photos.
yeah.
Sometimes these are the only professional photos that some of these kids will ever have. And I think the biggest misconception about volume is like, oh, well, you're only making a couple of dollars. Like it's not really profitable. And in my opinion, volume photography is the most profitable niche of photography that you could possibly get into.
Mhm. Yeah, so expand on that. So you're talking to, you were doing weddings and, weddings might have a five, six, $10,000 price tag.
Mhm.
And you moved to, I don't know your whole pricing, but you might have moved to a 20 to 50 to $70 price tag,
Yes.
right?
So our global average order across all of the jobs that we do is right around $71 and some cents. And then our average order rate is about 65%. So you're not getting money out of every single person you shoot, but we're shooting thousands of kids a
Mhm.
week. I mean, some weeks we're shooting 10,000 kids plus on a single week. And so when you start doing the math on $71 times
Yeah.
thousands of orders, and it's not custom. Everything is so streamlined. You're not having to handhold or do tons of email communication with parents because when you're placing a $71 average order, like it's not that serious. People aren't that worried about it. Versus like a custom kind of session or a wedding where you're walking through the whole year with this bride and you're talking to her and her mom and you're talking to the wedding planner and having to coordinate so
Mhm.
much versus volume photography is really one decision maker. We're talking with them. We've got customer service on the back end for our parents if they reach out. But the other reason why volume photography was so attractive to me was that I could build it as a business and work on the business instead of in the business. So,
Okay.
um, with wedding photography, it was very reliant on me. People were booking me because they wanted me to take their wedding pictures. With Click Studios, much of the time it's my sales and accounts manager, Kelsey, who's booking the job, and then Cameron and my photographers go and shoot it, and they don't even know I exist.
Wow.
It's a beautiful thing.
That that does sound great. My dad was a business owner. He did everything himself, a couple employees. I worked for him before I got into photography. It's just me and my wife doing this. So the idea, so I completely embrace of like, well, they have to have me. It's my idea, but I can also appreciate. I took a Goldman Sachs program last year, which talked about systems and growing your business and having exit plans. And
Hmm.
really, that there's a misnomer that they don't want to do business with Cris. They like to do business with CJ Duncan Photography.
Hmm.
You
Yep.
know, so it's not necessarily me; it's the service or the product I can offer them through my company.
Right.
And so talk to someone that's like, because personally, I don't think I want to manage 7 people. That's just,
Yes.
and I know
Lots of
you,
people don't.
right? And so, but the idea of getting another 2,000 a month or 3,000 a month, or even, a couple hundred a week sounds intriguing because I could do that. I could do a 100-person preschool, or I could do a 60-person sports league, or so.
Yes.
Is that something that you're going to speak to as well? Or is it
Oh,
like
for
go big or
sure.
go home type?
No, you can go small. You can add volume photography as a service to the photography business that you already have. So I spoke at a senior summit not long ago, and the whole topic was around why senior photographers are so perfectly suited to add volume photography as an option, not only to make money, but to give them more clients that they can market to for their seniors business. So anybody who's doing seniors would be so great with sports. Anybody who's doing newborn photography, family photography, preschools would fit perfectly into their already occurring business that they have, to make a little bit of money,
Mhm.
add to the top line revenue there, but then also to get them email addresses to put on their newsletter. And then it's information that you own to be able to put on your email marketing platform, and then get you more family sessions, get you more newborn sessions,
Yeah.
anything like that that you already have already occurring in your business.
Yeah. So it sounds like anyone that just wants to expand their maybe income streams or revenue streams, your class seems
For
like a
sure.
great fit for that. Even if they're not looking to have 6 employees and do 1,000 kids a week,
Hmm.
there's
Yeah, and
still,
some people will come in and say, "Okay, I'm ready to do volume, but I want it to always be me. I want to be able to offer that perfect service every time where I know that they're getting the right service because it's from me." And I tell people, you don't have to have the big studio and have all the employees and have all these 1099 people working for you. What you actually do that I can't do is, if you had a league who said, "We really would love it if you could come out, but we want you to schedule with each coach separately and go to their practices." That is totally something that you could offer that Click Studios can't offer, that would make you be the perfect choice for them. So volume is, it's great to do on your own. It's great to do as you build a team, and it's really just accessible to everyone once you get the information that you need to be able to run it right.
yeah, that's great. So let's kind of unpack that information as we kind of wrap this up. So your class at Texas School, it's called the Blueprint. So
Mhm.
my dad was in construction. He's an electrician, so I'm familiar with the blueprint. It tells you where everything
Yeah.
goes, and anybody can see that and know what's supposed to happen there. So is that kind of, am I reading this the right way in your title, that and is it all business focused? Is it still going to be some creativity that we talked about earlier
It's
focus
going to be
too?
a little bit of both. So we're going to go through shooting for speed and consistency, because that's important with volume photography. You want to set it and just run kids through and be able to do that with efficiency. We're going to talk about pricing for profit in volume photography, because that's a total different world than pricing for profit in regular portraits or wedding photography. We're going to talk about building repeatable systems and scaling those systems. We're going to talk a little bit about building your team, because even if you're running it on your own, you definitely do need some posers to help you out. Maybe like a customer service person at the desk who's checking coaches in as they're coming. And then we're going to do some live shooting. We're going to do a demo where I talk about shooting in a traditional manner, and then how you can also do composites with that. So we'll do a little bit of everything.
Okay. Well, it sounds like sounds like an amazing opportunity for someone that's already in photography and just wants to expand, and maybe like you find a whole nother niche that they didn't even know
Yeah.
existed, and can really open them up to great opportunities. So
Hmm.
so your class, the modern, the modern sports photography blueprint. It just came on the line for Texas School. It's April 25th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. there at the Renaissance Hotel in Addison, Texas. So, Emily Davis, thank you so much for joining us. We're excited to have you at Texas
Yeah.
School. And where can people see some? Obviously, they can go to texasschool.org and see more about your class, but where can they learn more about you and see some of what you're doing?
Yeah, so I've got two websites. If you want to see Click Studios, my studio in North Texas, you can go to clickstudiostexas.com and find that there. And if you want to see more stuff on the education side, you can go to thevolumevault.com.
Okay, fantastic. Just a reminder that Emily's class is a Saturday class. So if you can't make the full week of Texas School, which is the traditional Sunday through Friday class, you can come Saturday as a standalone and take Emily's class. Or if you're already at Texas School, you can pair it with your full week class like wine and cheese or dessert before dinner, because it'll match great with some of our other portrait classes and education offerings that we have there. Again, it's April 25th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., texasschool.org, and we hope to see you there in April. Thank you, Emily.
Awesome. See you there.